Okay, in this tutorial I'm going to demonstrate Telnet and Telnet client and Telnet server and connecting to a remote Telnet server. And when you use Telnet, basically you remote into a host machine and you're provided a command prompt in which you can execute commands on that host machine. Right, so it's a good a good tool for connecting and administrating a remote machine. And in the Cisco CCNA curriculum, you can use it to remote into a Cisco router or a Cisco switch. But the Cisco router switch has to have the interfaces already configured and an IP address configured, because with Telnet you do need to Telnet to either a host name or an IP address. So Telnet is a tool that is not used very much anymore because it was not encrypted, and the usernames and passwords and data, the text commands, were sent in plain text across the network, so it wasn't built for security. Today, Secure Shell, SSH, is used more often to remote into a system and execute commands. But it still has its uses, and it's a good networking tool for learning about networking, so I'm going to demonstrate it right now. So I've got a remote XP client. I've got remote desktop connection right here to a XP client, right? And you can see here there's the start menu for the XP client. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn Telnet on, Telnet server on this XP remote client. And then over here, I've got my command prompt open for my Windows Vista machine, and we're going to use my Windows Vista machine as the client, and we're going to use this XP machine as the Telnet server, and we will connect from the client to the server. Now, Telnet came installed by default on Windows XP, but with Windows Vista and Windows 7, it is not installed by default. So if you want to install it in Windows 7 or Vista, you're going to need to go to your control panel, and you're going to need to go to Programs, okay, and then you're going to need to go to Programs and Features, and you're going to have to check Turn Windows Features on and off. And when you click on this, Turn Windows Features on and off, you're going to, it takes a few minutes for it to work, but you're going to need to look for the Telnet client and the Telnet server, and then you can check mark those boxes and then click OK, and it will enable your Telnet client, your Telnet server on your Windows Vista or Windows 7 machine. And I've already done that, so I won't do that again, but it's right there if you wanted to do it on your system. And when you do that, to test to see if you have Telnet activated, just say Telnet, and I'll put in a / and a question mark, and I get some help information about the Telnet program. So you can see I do have it now on my command prompt. So I'm ready with my client to use Telnet. Now for this XP that I'm remoted into, this XP machine that I'm remoted into, Telnet was already installed, but you do have to run it. So you're going to have to go to your control panel and administrative tools, and I'm going to open up services, okay, and then in the services dialog box, this is how you start the server. I'll just scroll around here. So I'm going to open this up a little farther, and I'll scroll down to T, and sure enough, there's Telnet, and this is the Telnet server, okay, and it gives you a little description of it here, right? And I'll just right click on it, go to Properties, and you can see here the service name is TLNT SVR, Telnet server, and it's disabled right now, so I will change it to manual, click Apply, so I can manually start and stop it. Now I can click Start, and that will start the Telnet server. Alright, so we're good now. Okay, so that's working. I'll minimize that, I'll minimize that. And what I want to do is test to see if this XP client is indeed listening on port 23, which is the port for Telnet. So we can open up a command prompt here, and we can type in net stat -a for all and n for no names, and you can see here that these are all of our listening ports on this XP client, and right at the top it says listening on address 0000 port 23. Okay, so I'm listening for all available addresses connecting on port 23, and that means I have Telnet server running. I'm listening on port 23, So that is Telnet server. You can also see that I'm listening on port 3389, which makes sense since we are remote desktoped into this machine right here. So I have remote desktop open, so I was able to remote desktop into this client. So isn't that interesting? So you can see that one is established, right? State established, right, to my machine right here. This is my Vista client, which is connected. The foreign address is my Vista client to this address, and you can see the IP address in the port 3389, which I'm connected on remote desktop port 3389. So anyway, we've got Telnet server running, so let's test it out. But before we Telnet into the server, let's run Wireshark and capture some packets to while we're doing it. So I'll click on Wireshark. Hopefully this won't crash the recording. And here's Wireshark, and I'll say capture interfaces. Look for the active interface. It's here at the top. So I'll click start. That starts my capture. And now I'm going to generate some traffic. Telnet into 192.168.4.104. And it says, do you want to do this? It's not safe. Okay, we'll do it anyway. And then we want to log in. I'll put in my username and my password. Okay, and I'm in. So I'm in. I can put in a directory command and look at the directory, the desktop, documents, everything. I'm going to stop my capture over here, Wireshark. Okay, so now we have the packets that for that connection right here listed in Wireshark, and we can look for our Telnet connection. Right? Let's take a look here. As long as we didn't filter it out. Okay, and so you see we have a Telnet connection right here. I can send commands. I could do an IP config, let's say, to my remote XP machine. It gives me the IP address of the remote machine, right? So now another interesting thing, so we're looking through this capture in Wireshark, and I'm not seeing any protocol here for Telnet. I see UDP, TCP, all that stuff, but I'm not seeing any Telnet captures. Now, why is that? Well, first of all, and this is why we should be seeing some Telnet packets in here for our connection, our Telnet connection, and our successful login. But I forgot that right now, this Vista client right now, and this remote XP machine, I have a VPN tunnel right into this remote machine. So in the VPN tunnel, that is an encrypted, protected communication, and so the packets that we captured do not show the Telnet. The Telnet is actually not visible, at least from the outset here. I'm not seeing any Telnet packets, and my guess is that because this is all happening within a VPN tunnel. And anyway, that's my guess. But the demonstration is solid. We've telnetted from a client into a Telnet server and examined the process. We also attempted to capture some packets with Wireshark, which we did, captured some packets, but we have to look at them, and we were not able to see visible Telnet packets, most likely because of the fact that we're going through a VPN tunnel.